It's Tuesday Wrestling, and you all know what that means. That means we get to review NWA Powerrr, AEW Dark, and of course, NXT 2.0. As you know, it enters its fallout after Worlds Collide. So, what takes place after? Well, we will find out soon enough. But first things first, we're going to review two Joshi promotions that took place this past Saturday. The first one's going to be, of course, the continuation with day 11 of Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix. So right now we will figure out who will be still in the lead, who needs to catch up, what matches took place, and of course, a Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling event that took place the day before the Circuit City Nagoya performance. This one is part of the autumn tour. I was excited to hear about this one because certain things really happened at the main event. And also, we're going to be sharing what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with Stardom's day 11th of the 5-star Grand Prix. Well, this took place on the 3rd of September in Takamatsu. First two matches are non-tournament matches, so we'll just review them anyway. First match is a four-way. We have Waka Tsukiyama versus Momo Kogo versus Mirai versus Natsupoi. Now, this is the first time Natsupoi and Waka come face-to-face with each other since she joined. As you know, in these type of matches, there's no team, but however, there are times they will act that way if it's necessary. But the best moment is when Natsupoi was doing a power strength with Mirai. Of course, Waka helped her out, and then Momo, well, at first she seems like she was going to help Mirai, but she's like, nope, screw you, I'm going to help them. But however, their strength did not work, all this. But there was another funny moment where, of course, Mirai had Natsupoi with her ankle tagged up. Basically, she keeps knocking Waka keeps knocking her out. She's like saying, Waka! She's like trying to tell her to stop, knowing that she's getting hurt. Even Tam like watches like, ugh. So basically there's that. But of course, we did see Natsupoi and Waka do confront each other. But however, Waka was the one who, of course, ended up losing when she got pinned up by Momo Kogo with the La Magistral. I think that's what's it called, I think. But as you know, we all been expecting for Waka to pick up her first win, but we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match, we have Oda Tai, consistent of Ruka and Momo Watanabe, to take on Star members Saya Ida and, of course, Uzuki. This is the first time I see those two team up because if you guys remember last year, they mentioned that Uzuki played a part in Saya Ida's training. She was like a parent to her. So it makes sense why they team up. But it was Uzuki who picked up the win on Ruka with the diving senton, giving them the win. Now let's jump in with our title tournament matches. Our first one we have is from the Red Star block. We have Mai Sakurai versus Himeka. Now I know exactly what some of you thought about this match. Some of you thought Himeka was going to win because A, she's big, but B, she is senior to Mai Sakurai. But however, that wasn't the case. It ended with, of course, somehow pulling an upset by Mai Sakurai when she applied the Mai Pan roll, giving her the win. Now, there was a moment, of course, where Himeka was in disbelief. Like, she couldn't even believe that she lost to a junior, in her opinion. But Julia, on the other hand, she had a little laugh. Can't believe it happened. Like, she was so proud of making fun of, happy that Mai Sakurai won. And I noticed that Micah didn't even felt any sympathy for Himeka. I don't know. I feel like right now there is no sympathy for anybody losing. And many fans talked about this before on social media. People thought Himika was going to leave DDM. I wouldn't be surprised if she leaves, but I don't know. It was kind of strange. But for the point system and what we matters, I believe Mai Sakurai has 4 wins and 4 losses with 8 points. But Himika is currently with 10 points, I believe. Yes, 10 points with 5 wins and 3 losses. So that's what we know so far in this particular day. Now our next match is part of the Blue Star block. We have, of course, Starlight Kid versus Ami Suri. Now, if you guys thought in statistics that Ami Suri was going to win due to the fact she is a powerful competitor, no, it did not go exactly that way because Starlight Kid, as you know, she's very devious, very dangerous, but she picked up the win with the Roxy, I think that's what she calls it, giving her 2 points, and of course giving a little message to Ami Sori the moment she left. So I believe right now Starlight Kid has about 6 points with 3 wins and 3 losses. Ami Sori only has 8 wins, 8 points with 4 wins and 3 losses. So that kind of plays out pretty interesting. So she's good for now, but the obvious anything could change from here on out. Now our next match, we go back to the Red Star block. We got Saki Kashima teaming up with taking on Tam Nakano. Now these two ladies are familiarized with each other. They were both on the same unit before. They were members of Stars. Now some of you thought the same thing, that maybe Tam would have won this one, but no, you got to keep in mind Saki Kashima, she's very smart, very calculated in trying to pick up a very good, interesting pin by applying the Kishikase, which always helped her out win because, of course, we've seen in the past Julia said that never works, but this time it did. She pulled off another good win against her. So right now, Saki Kashima, I believe, has 3 wins and 3 losses. So that's pretty much what takes place. As for Tam Nakano, she right now has 3 wins and 2 losses with 6 points. So we'll see how far she can go. Now our next match is back to the Blue Star. We have Mina Shirakawa taking on Julia. Now this is a different side of Mina I never seen. She put up a hell of a submission move where she put Julia in a figure 4 leg lock. Now Julia tried desperately to try to get out of it, tried to pull the rope. No, they got off the ring. Mina couldn't let go, so she dragged her to the entranceway of the entire arena wherever they were at, and then later she pulled a similar to what Serena did by grabbing the knee and whacking her opponents down on the mat, but this time it was on hard wood, leaving her disoriented. But Julia even was surprised that this is a side of her that she never seen. Now we know Mina was probably using this as a desperation to win, but we all know Julia, she is determined to win the entire thing, to get the one belt that she feels she deserves the most. But however, she applied the backdrop driver. She won with, right now she's currently held with, let's see what she had. Yeah, she is currently with 5 wins and 2 losses. She has 10 points. So she is right now almost catching up to Azuki, who is currently who is at 14 points at this point. So we'll see where they're going to go with that. And as for Mina, I believe she has only 3 wins and 2 losses, so 6 points. So we'll see how far she can go in this entire month. Now we go back to the Red Star block. We have Maika versus Suri. Now you know this is going to be a banger of a match due to the fact that you have a striker and a powerhouse. Now these two ladies are familiarized with each other. They've known each other because, as you know, Suri used to be DDM, but it was Maika with the Michinoku driver that picked up the win. Now, statistically, she is amongst a few wrestlers that is capable to challenge the red belt here on out before whoever wins the 5-star Grand Prix. That is obvious right there. So we'll see where we're going to go with that. Now our final match we have is the Blue Star. Hold on, scratch that. Okay, so right now, Maika has 10 points with 5 wins and 2 losses. However, she is tied with Azumi and Himika. So those 3 are currently tied. I don't know if anybody else is tied. Yes. So we have Azumi, Himika, and Maika. They're currently in the lead. So we'll see what goes. And as for Suri, I believe she has only 6 points with 3 wins and 4 losses. So she cannot afford to lose any more matches as soon as after that. Now our main event is, of course, the Blue Star. We have Mayu Iwatani taking on Saya Kamitani. I thought this match was pretty good because, as you know, Saya Kamitani has been considered the future ace of Stardom, taking on the icon and the current ace of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani. Now, you would have assumed that Mayu would won, but no, it was, of course, Saya Kamitani with the Frankensteiner that picked up the win. This is a huge win for her, knowing she beat the icon. So that kind of sets in. I believe Saya Kamitani has uh, 4 wins and 2 losses with 8 points. As for Mayu, she has the same thing, 4 wins and 2 losses. So we'll see what happens then for um, day 12, and we'll see from there on. But let's move on with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with Antum Tour. This is on the September 3rd, a day before the Circuit City Nagoya performance. Our first match, we have Moka Miyamoto taking on Yuki Aino. Now, Yuki Aino, in my opinion, is getting a little better now as a singles competitor ever since, she stepped up to do singles competition ever since her blood sister and Bakuratsu's sister tag team, Nodoka Temna, retired and graduated from Tokyo Joshi Pro. She has grown sufficiently, but we don't know how far. But for me right now, she still has a long way to go to establish herself as a singles competitor. But like I said, she is getting better. She won this match by applying the inverted DDT onto Moka, giving her a very interesting win, but not one of the bigger matches I feel that she would get down in the future. Hopefully we get that match. Next up, we got tag team action. We got Haruna Neko teaming up with Suzumi to take on Daydream, or as we know them as Hakuchumu, Miyu Watanabe, and Rika Tatsumi. Now, I am a fan of these Miyu and Rika because they have worked so well. Rika was senior to Miyu Watanabe, and I've known she was proud of her for stepping up on 2 occasions for the Princess of Princess title. But however, in this match, it was Miyu Watanabe that did give the opportunity for Rika to do a somewhat of a cutter onto Hirano Neko, giving her the win. So basically, that's how it wins. So Daydream, they won. Next match, we got Mahito Kiru and Yuki Kamifuku. This is the last time we see them before their big match. They put themselves to the test to Arisu Endo and Shoko Nakajima. Now, I did like how in this particular match how they had developed their chemistry as a tag team. The reason I say this is why they have determined they really want to step up their game as a tag team. But it was impressive where Mahito hold on to Arisu Endo in order for Yuki to do the famouser, and then of course Mahito was the one that picked up the win by pinning her 1, 2, 3. It was an impressive win. So, but sadly they did not win the tag titles the following day. But it was a good match, not gonna lie. Now our next match, this is a very interesting one called a Sweet and Sour Critic Acid 2. 2 count acid, 2 count fall. Basically, if you're pinned for a 2 count, you have to drink this stuff that's very disgusting. So this is between Naoki and Hyper Misawa. I lost count how many times I had to drink this stuff, but it was Naoki who picked up a good win. Of course, she had to go through pain and hell with this stuff, but wow. But yeah. Now our next match, this is our main event. We have Raku teaming up with Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita to take on Palm Harajuku and the Magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki. Now, this is a very interesting match for me. This is the first time I ever seen either Palm or Raku in a main event setting, because we know that Raku and Palm have won matches here and there and, on certain occasions. I know they teamed up before in the past, but I think this was a very good exposure for her because her backstory is that she's one of the few of the Up Girl, one of the members of the Up Girls who never picks up a good, get a big win. But of course, she has won matches here and there. But I did like the moments where we saw Palm and Raku were in fact the last two in the ring trying to outdo each other, but it was Raku who picked up the win by applying a neck breaker onto Palm Matajuku, giving her 1, 2, 3. This is her big win. I have to say, it was a really good one. I'm not sure if we will see one like this ever again, but I give props that she really made a huge splash for this main event. So, congrats to Raku on this one. So I think that's pretty much it right now with Tokyo Joshi Pro. It's time to enter with Tuesday Wrestling with NWA Powerrr. Okay, NWA Powerrr, so let's get on it. We have a women's match. This one kind of tells us who will be most likely in line for an opportunity for once again a shot of the NWA Women's Championship at Hard Times in New Orleans. We have Genocide, Chelsea Green, Kylan King, and Taya Valkyrie. Now, each of these women, we know they plead their cases. We know Genocide has been frustrated, believing that she should have been on top. Kylan King has been trying to stay herself on top to ensure she stays as the opponent to challenge for the title. We know Chelsea Green will do anything in her power to win that title in the name of the Cardona family. And of course, Taya Valkyrie, we know her reputation, how it rolls. But I thought this match was great, but in fact, it was Taya Valkyrie with the Road to Valhalla that picked up the win on Chelsea Green, giving her that opportunity. So most likely, we will see her at Hard Times in New Orleans later on. Now we do get an interview by Kyle Davis with William Patrick Corgan. As you know, there's a lot of things that are going to take place soon, and we're building up to that. And I think he's very happy with everything's been set up. So we're proud of that. Now our next match we have EC3, who debuts. This is official NWA Powerrr debut, taking on Deontay Marshall. But this match ended in a submission. Now, the match wasn't itself important, it was the message that took place after the match. There was a post-match where he got into the podium and sends a direct message to Tom Lawlor. So it looks like he's targeting Tom Lawlor to wake up and, see the real deal. And I think that's the case. But EC3 wasn't alone. He had members of the, CYN, create your own narrative to show up, and that's how it goes. Now, we do get an interview with May Valentine with Aaron Stevens. It looks like he's starting his own management company, similar to what we've seen with Austin Idol. He has the question mark, even though we know that's Rodney Mack and that sort of thing. So basically, he is still going to be around wrestling, but he's not going to be wrestling himself. So that kind of sets it away. Now, our next match, we have a women's NWA Women's Championship match. We have Allison Kay, the former champion, taking on Camille. This match was a headbanger. I thought this match was pretty good. But however, this match ended in a time limit draw. I know many fans would have wanted to see Camille to win, but for some reason it ended up in a time limit draw. But I'm sure we will see those two cross paths again with each other. Now, May Valentine, as you know, had to be the one to deal with the Cardonas. Matt Cardona, as you know, he is willing to admit that he thought it came back to wrestle too soon because he is desperate. But however, he is determined. Basically, he will not be challenging for the world title anytime soon, but he thinks that Trevor was such a coward that he attacked him. No, it's called eliminating the threat. That's what I think Trevor was doing. However, Rick Knox is not satisfied with the loss. He wants to hurt Bully Ray even further. So that sort of thing. But however, everyone's mind is to win NWA Gold. But the obvious question, will that happen? We don't know. Now, our main event, and of course, we do get another interview with May. She teams up with OGK. Now, it's no secret that OGK, Matt Taven, and Matt Bennett are there to challenge for the NWA World Tag Team titles. That's something they've been crossing the lines. As you know, they're currently the Impact Wrestling World Champions, World Tag Team Champions, so that's something we do know, but this is one of those titles they felt has been eluded. So sooner or later, they will cross paths with La Rebellion, and we'll see. Now, our main event, of course, we have Doug Williams taking on Flip Gordon. I thought this match was great because it showed, okay, you got a veteran who's top of the game taking on a guy like Flip Gordon, who we know he is good, but he was able to hold on as much as possible. Nick Aldis was in the corner. Now, he was completely biased on who to support. I mean, he is tagged with Doug Williams. He has faced Flip on various occasions, but I think it was hard for him. But he saw the heart of Flip Gordon, how he was able to win. He pulled up like a somewhat of a cutter, similar to an Oz cutter, but it did give him the win. But unfortunately, the party was cut short thanks to Odison attacking Flip Gordon, and then Nick Aldis decided to take matters in his own hands, even though he was not cleared to wrestle. But we'll see what happens then. So I think we're pretty much done with NWA. I believe it's time for AEW Dark. Okay, AEW Dark opened up with tag team action. We have Josh Woods and Tony Nese, along with Smart Bar Sterling, to take on Storm Grayson and Brandon Gore. Now, this particular match ended with, of course, a very good teamwork between both Nese and Woods, with a combination neck breaker that would give them the win that they need. Next up, we got The Problem on her own, being accompanied by Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. She takes on Lady Luck. Now, you know this type of match would end in a submission with Marina Shafir, because that's how she ends her matches. And she puts her in that. I don't even know the name of submissions because she has so many to put on. So that's one of the things I do know. So, but she did say, I am the problem. So let's see if we can solve it. So, the next match, we have Serpentico and along with Luther to take on Zach Lane, who you may know as JWoww's Bo, taking on. Now, you probably would assume, please, Serpentico, kick Zach Lane's ass. Yes, nobody wants that guy around here, but however, I have to say Serpentico really put up his A game, but it was not enough because Clayton took him out with the Fisherman Buster, 1, 2, 3. He wins this match. A very huge disappointing loss for Serpentico, but of course nobody likes Zach Lane at all. Our next match, we have Julia Hart against Misa Kate. I have to say Misa Kate did put up a good fight. Excuse me. But however, this particular match ended with, of course, once again they called the submission move that she's been using so far, the Heartless, and that gives her the win. And of course, she is a loyal follower of the House of Black, because she always, of course, as Malakai Black says, the house always wins. Next up, we got the Professor, Serena Deeb, taking on Syria. Now, you probably can guess. Now, recently we have seen her use the submission move, the Serenity Lock, but this time she used that one move I mentioned. It's still no clear what to call it, but it's the move where she sets behind the back of the opponent and then stretches her arms, and that's what gave her the win. So it's still unclear what they're going to name it or what she's going to name it. I don't know. We still need to find out. Now, our next match, we have Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn taking on, of course, Robert Anthony and GPA. Now, this particular match, we did not see no Matt Hardy, which was strange, but they picked up the win with the gin juice, and that's how it is. Now, our main event is the first time ever we see the Ring of Honor World Championship on the line. We have Ari Daivari, he no trustbusters by his side, against Claudio Castagnoli, and I have to say it was a pretty good match. I have to say that Ari Daivari really did step up his game, as tried to do this on his own without the help of Slim J and Parker Bardou, but that it kind of ended it. But it was the bomb, the Rotilio bomb or something, I think that's what they call it, that allowed for Claudio Castagnoli to retain the title. So I'm not sure if we'll be seeing more of the Ring of Honor on title being defended on Dark, but we'll see it down in the future, because we know we've been hearing talk about the Ring of Honor having their own series. So we'll see what happens. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with our final review, NXT 2.0. Okay, NXT 2.0. It opened up with Tyler Bate coming out doing his promo. Now, keep in mind, this is the aftermath or the fallout after the Worlds Collide event from this past Sunday. Now, Tyler Bate is not ashamed to lose to Braun Breaker, knowing that he did at his best of his ability. But he said he is proud to be the first and last NXT UK champion. So that will go down as the history books, as we know. However, Gallus sees him that you failed. You failed us. You failed everyone in Europe. However, Tyler Bate got him back by saying, you guys didn't even win the tag team titles, which, of course, obvious is true. So, no shame in that. But later we did see they tried to take out Tyler Bate, but Braun Breaker decided to come out and help him out with the save. So it showed how much respectful Braun Breaker is to Tyler Bate, because they put on a hell of a match in Worlds Collide. So it was later made official for the main event. Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker taking on Joe and Mark Coffey of Gallus, while Wolfgang will be on their side. Now, Pretty Deadly, as you know, they've been showing off now that they are the new unified tag team champions, and Lash Legends decides to hold the other pair, the NXT UK titles. So basically they're being a bunch of pricks, in my opinion. Now, this next match was a bit of a revenge match by Doudrop and Nikki Ash. Now, Toxic Attraction, as you know, they haven't been, Gigi Dolan and Jay-Z Jane, they haven't been the same ever since they lost the tag titles to Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. However, ever since we saw that they're no longer the tag team, they tried to plead them, hey, give us back the titles. We are the rightful owners. But except they did not win them because they lost the little four-way tournament at again with Kaden Carter and Katana Chase. But Doudrop and Nikki Ash want revenge for what they did, costing them the opportunity. However, this particular match, they went balls to walls, intensified. There was a moment where Doudrop, her face was bleeding up, but it did give her the powerhouse. It was Doudrop who picked up the win onto what's her name? To Gigi Dolan. Now, this is a huge disappointing loss for Toxic Attraction, but we don't know what their status will be, since we know that Mandy Rose is the unified women in NXT Women's Champion. But however, things are not looking good for both JC and Gigi. Now, after the events of Worlds Collide, we see a bit of a digital exclusive content where Roxanne Perez was having a conversation with Meiko Satomura. Now, as you know, Meiko lost. Well, she wasn't pinned, but she lost the title completely. But she said that she is disappointed, but she is proud to represent NXT UK. But however, Cora Jade decided, to have a match, saying, but however, Meiko Satomura made it clear that she had to decline this offer because she already accepted another match, and this was someone she did not expect, and that was Roxanne Perez. So basically, it's already been proven otherwise. Now, Apollo Crews, as you know, he hasn't been the same. Basically, his eye has turned red thanks to Grayson Waller, but Grayson Waller thinks that, I got rid of him. I did everyone a favor, people. So, but however, there's the old saying, an eye for an eye. So sooner or later, Grayson Waller will get his day. Now, our next match, we have JD McDonough versus Wesley. I have to say, this is the most craziest and sadistic person JD McDonough has become. I have to say, he's playing this role where he's a psychopath. There was a moment where he got thrown to the commentating table, and he was about to grab Yuto, and I'm like, what the fuck? He's like obsessed, like he wants to grab him for some reason, and he got freaked out. But of course, JD McDonough was the one who picked up the win on Wesley, sending a clear message. Now, our next match, of course, we saw Roxanne Perez versus Meiko Satomura. I thought this match was great. In the beginning, Roxanne Perez looked nervous because she knows you're not dealing with an old-timer. You're dealing with a legend, someone who's been around the block for many years. She's the reason that people call her the final boss. And of course, it was the Scorpio Way to pick up the win on Roxanne Perez. and Meiko Satomura showed her respect. But however, Cora Jade, as you know, she feels it. Roxanne Perez once again stole her spotlight, so she whacked her again. Meiko Satomura did not take that too kindly. But this is far from over between both Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Now, as you know, what happened with Diamond Mine Damon Kemp was apparently not was explaining his side of the story. What happened? He feels that that the Creed brothers did not give him respect, and of course, same thing with Roderick Strong. But he did admit he was the one who stirred the pot between both Julius Creed and Roderick Strong, and same thing with Ivy Nile. But however, this also plays out saying that Diamond Mine is now done and all this. But of course, during an interview, they saw Creed brothers and Ivy Nile did saw what transpired. So basically, they're not happy with the results how it is. But Pretty Deadly, they made their biggest mistake. They decided to gloat because they signed on for a championship match for next week, a rematch to regain the titles. However, they decided to say we're going to have the fans pick, so they're going to pick the stipulation. But however, this is where, of course, Diamond Mine, they're going to take their frustrations out on Pretty Deadly, so they better be prepared. So that's all I can say about them. Now we have a bit of a payback match with Ricochet against Trick Williams. As you know, Trick Williams will do anything to make sure Mello wins the match, but this time it did not work. Ricochet got the better of Trick Williams, and he beat him, and he won by applying the shooting star press. However, it was already announced that Mello will be defending his title the following week, but the fans get to choose. He's like, no, I picked the person, but sorry, not this week. You're gonna have to wait. So it's unclear who will be his opponent, the challenger. So we'll see. Now, our next match we have is a best out of 3 match. We have Nathan Frazier versus Axiom. I thought this match was great, fast paced, all of that, but it was Axiom with that amazing kick that won, giving him 1 win. Now, one more. There's another. Now here's the thing: we can go either way between Nathan Frazier and Axiom. If Axiom wins the next match, he won. However, if what's his name? If Nathan Frazier wins the next match, basically we're going to go all the way. Now, as you know, Kiana James had it with Nikki Lyons and Zoe Starks because she tries to pretend that the statistics is on her favor, but the last time she lost to both. So she found someone who agrees with her, saying that they have to deal with them. So she teams up with Ariana Grace. So it looks like they're going to team up to take on Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons. Now, our main event, we have, of course, Gallus and taking on Bate and Riker. I thought this was a really fun match because there was a good moment where Braun Breaker brought back shades of his dad. If you guys remember back in the day when the Steiner brothers were still active, Rick Steiner used to walk around in circles around Scott, and then he gets underneath in between his legs and act like a dog. And I have to say that is the most memorable moment. So it's like shades of his father and uncle. I thought it was an amazing moment to see. But however, I like the teamwork between Bate and Breaker, but it was Tyler Bate that picked up the win on Mark Coffey, giving Bate and Breaker the win. However, it didn't end there. JD McDonough attacked Tyler Bate. Now, those two had some long history. Now, you probably guessed that Tyler Bate, well, he probably looks at him as he failed the NXT. He has no right to say that, he all this and that. But we'll see what happens next week. So I think that's pretty much it what we got with NXT. I believe it's time for our lasting news updates. Okay, our news updates now. You may have heard about Malakai Black, what's been going on with him, that he requested his release and it was denied. However, there was some conflicting reports coming in from people saying that he was unhappy, he was not getting the matches he wanted. Well, that wasn't the entire case that was happening. Malakai Black wanted to take a leave of absence to deal with things personally, like personal issues, mentally and physically. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I can say that because it's okay to say I need to step away. So he will be permanently out of the pro wrestling for a while until he recovers. It's still unclear how his contract status is. I think he has a 5-year contract with AEW, but we'll see where they're gonna go with it. But as you know, the last thing we saw the people say they talk about it is how he hugged the House of Black and basically blowing a kiss to the fans. People assume that he's leaving AEW, but according to what PW Insider reports, he's not. He's just going to leave pro wrestling for a bit of a while. Who knows when he'll be back. However, he is being removed from the roster from AEW, but not the House of Black. They are remaining where they're at. So basically, they will continue on. Now, as you know, Stardom has begun with the build-up for the unusual event that we have seen, which is the showcase. Now, I failed to mention this before, and this was a few weeks ago. As you know, we had Rossy Ogawa in this clip. He was walking, and then he was harassed by none other than Saki Kashima, who always bugs him every single time. Now, out of nowhere, the Grim Reaper shows up and chokes the hell out of him and puts him in a car. Now, Saki Kashima thought it was funny, thinking it was a prank. However, she finds out it was no prank. So, does this mean that the Grim Reaper has targeted Saki Kashima? I don't know, because the last time she choked out Rossy Ogawa at least 2 or 3 times. Twice when he tried to get Saya Kamitani and one on Starlight Kid. So, who knows what it is. However, that does not end there for that. Apparently, Mina Shirakawa has decided that the Summers is getting close. Coming to a close. She decided to bring back the Cosmic Rules match. Now, I did learn that there is the possibility we were supposed to have that match that was supposed to take place recently. Now, if you guys remember, it was supposed to be a tag team match. Mina was supposed to team up with Natsupoi and Unagi with Saki. However, Natsupoi was not cleared to wrestle due to a injury she might have obtained, so it became a 3-way. That match ended in no contest, thanks to Unagi for removing Mina Shirakawa's top. So that's what happened. However, another video popped up where Julia and Mai Sakurai were working out, and then of course here comes Saya Ida trying to show who is the most strongest person, so we may see that match. Now, originally I thought we are going to have a hardcore match in this particular match with Oda Tai and Julia with what's her name, Rina Yamashita. I'm not sure if that's going to happen on the showcase, but we'll see about that. Now, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow for all Tokyo Pro Wrestling fans, especially if you're fans of these two competitors. Tokyo Pro Wrestling announced for a #1 contender for the International Princess title. So, on September 16th, from my understanding, they've chosen Miyu Watanabe and Zuzumi. Now, this is a good match to win. I mean, I'm going to be completely biased in this match because these two women have grown. I mean, I look at Miyu Watanabe. She's an impressive wrestler. I'm a fan of her. I love what she does in the ring. Suzumi has grown so much. I feel like these two women are ready. But the obvious question is, who's going to walk out as the winner? Now, not to take sides, a part of me feels it's going to be Miyu Watanabe because she threw a fantastic match at the finals for the Tokyo Princess Cup, and I think that is probably the right choice. So she may have to be the one to challenge against Alex Windsor. It's still unclear whether she's going to do it in England or in Japan. So that's still not clear yet until we get to that particular day. Now, for all you Jungle Kiona fans out there, you know I've been keeping tabs on her, what she's been doing. Well, it's now been announced for her opponent for Prestige Wrestling at Roseland 4, Wake the Dead, on Halloween. Her opponent is going to be Deonna Purrazzo. Now, it appears that I looked on Twitter, Jungle Kiona says, long time no see. So that means there's a bit of history between these two. So I have to say that's going to be a banger of a match. Now, you may have heard what's been going on with WWE with some promotions. It turns out with WWE, there's been some people promoted. We have Triple H who's been promoted as Chief Content Officer. I thought it was pretty interesting. But however, as you know, um, Stephanie McMahon was placed as the interim president and CEO. It's been announced they have Frank A. Riddick II, I think, who is stepping up as the president and CEO of the company. So it's kind of interesting what's been going on. So we'll be following more on that. And as you know, WWE are getting back on track to do what they do best. Now, our final update, we have Tokyo Sports has revealed that Hiromu Takahashi is planning a junior all-star event. Basically, these are wrestlers that are junior heavyweight competitors. Now, funny about this, Daisuke Irada from Pro Wrestling Know have thought of something like this, but I don't know if there's going to be a fit. Now, he wants to get this launched next year, but however, nothing has been set in stone, nothing was written. However, feelers have been sent to various promotions, which means that now there are people who are on board on this idea. So basically, Hiromu has a lot of planning to do. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen once this amazing event is going to take place. So stand by for that. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we do got AEW Dynamite. I think there's a lot of talk about what possibly is going to go down after the events of what happened. Now, if you guys heard about it, I don't need to talk about it here, but I will be doing a discussion video as soon as possible to talk about this. So we don't know how this is going to turn out, but I hope things can be worked out just fine. So there's still some wrestling I haven't seen. I missed out. Considering catching up on the GCW stuff and also Gambare Pro stuff. I still don't know if I will get day 12 of the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. If that's the case, then I'll cover that. Also got Glee version 32, I think. I'm not sure, but I'll do that as soon as possible. But for now, we're just going to stick what we have at the moment. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.